Simon, what do you think about this fight? It's a big one, isn't it, for Derek Chisora, because he needs to put some money in the bank, and no one's ever really knocked out Joseph Parker. He doesn't get knocked out, and Derek doesn't win on points.
No, listen, I mean, first of all, it's great to be in the company of the new chairman of Matchroom, Eddie. So nice
congratulations, Eddie, by the way. Yeah, well done.
Look, I think it's an interesting domestic fight. Everyone knows my views about Derek Chisora that listens to the show regularly, that these are domestic fights. Derek is a great fighter. I know what goes with him and all of this. I look at Joseph Parker. Last time I saw Joseph Parker live was when I went to the Joshua fight, and it was a snooze fest, and I understand why it was a snooze fest, but it was disappointing to watch what he brought. I look at Parker, and I don't think the Parker that we've got now was the Parker that held the WBO belt when he held it, and he beat Andy Ruiz back in the day. And maybe you guys that have got more expertise in boxing will tell me something different. I think it's an interesting fight. I'm more interested, if I'm honest, in talking about and understanding what Craig Richards is going to do and how that fight pans out, because that's for a light heavyweight title. But I understand Derek. Derek's making hay while the sun shines. He's in the twilight of his career. He's been a great fighter at domestic level. He stepped up to the world level on a number of occasions, and every time he has done, he's gotten beat. So perhaps if he wins this fight, he gives himself another shot at a real payday. But I think it'll be a battle. It'll be a war, because the clue's in the title, isn't it? Derek War Chisora. He's not going to sit there and allow Joseph Parker to stay out of range and be what Joseph Parker's been in a few fights, which is not really as engaged as I'd like him to be. So I don't know, boys. Spencer, how wrong am I?
I think you're quite wrong on that one, actually, Simon. But listen, Derek Chisora, if you go back to the Carwell fight back in, when was that, 2017, 2018, that was actually his last bad performance. Since then, the knockout of Arthur Spilker, and then we had David Price as well. Carlos Takam. Yes, he lost to Usyk, but he lost to a guy that likes to box on the outside. Anyone that brings that fight to Derek Chisora is in for a tough night. Joseph Parker, yes, he does move a little bit, but at some point he's going to have to engage. It's interesting that Derek Chisora's brought Buddy McGirt in as well, who's a great addition to the team. Buddy said he's been working on Derek's balance, and Derek's going to go for it. He's going to roll the dice. He's going to go for it, because we've said it so many times before, haven't we? But this is his last shot at this sort of level if he fails again. And also for Joseph Parker, who's got an unbelievable ranking with the WBO. He's like number 2 or 3 with the WBO. So, a good win here keeps him in the mix. So it's a must-win fight for both of them. And when people have got their careers really on the line, I think you'll see the best of that. And both guys are coming in incredible shape. Parker's come in light, by the way. So we see the game plan will be to stay out of the way, not engage.
But that's my point, Spence, isn't it? And my point is Chisora versus Dillian Whyte, barnstormer twice, because they both went to have a fight. Are we going to, and I know, Eddie, I don't want to pee on your parade because this is a fight you're promoting, but are we going to see Joseph Parker come to have a fight? Because if he doesn't come to have a fight, we haven't got a barnstormer.
I think he'll have no choice. So I do think early on, he has come in light. Really interesting, as Spencer said. He's brought in Andy Lee. Derek's brought in Buddy McGirt, 2 fantastic trainers. And Andy Lee, like when you fight Derek Chisora, the last thing you really want to do is go at it with him from the first round. What you want to do is use your speed, move. But Derek, Usyk's the same. Usyk doesn't really like to engage. He likes to box on the outside. And for those first 6 rounds, Chisora was a nightmare for Usyk. He wouldn't leave him alone. And he'll do exactly the same against Joseph Parker. He'll come out, he'll try and meet him in the middle of the ring, he'll walk him down, and at some point, like Spencer said, Parker's not Usyk. He doesn't box like Usyk. He doesn't have the ability to move and be elusive like Alexander Usyk. So Parker's going to get overwhelmed. You're right about the Joshua fight. It wasn't the greatest fight, but I'll tell you what was the Dillian Whyte fight with Joseph Parker. Yeah. Where really, Parker was probably 10 seconds away, 15 seconds away from winning that fight in the 12th round when he put Dillian Whyte down. I think Joseph needs a good performance. I think he needs to impress. I do think he's the slight favourite going into this fight, because I think he's younger and slightly fresher. And you keep looking at the wars that Derek Chisora's had, and it's like, how many more times can he go to the world? But it's a great card. And like you said about Craig Richards, I mean, everybody's talking about Katie Taylor against Natasha Jonas, the rematch from the London 2012 Olympics, and Chris Eubank Jr. back, and Craig Richards, who was just here now, has a great chance to become another British world champion. But again, really a pound for pound top fighter in Dimitri Bivol.